a de la hiva. Okay, so guys, de la hiva, I hook my outside foot like so around the thigh of my training partner. This leg, there's a couple of things you can do with it. What I'm going to recommend doing as just a beginner position is keep your knee as close to your shoulder as you can. We want to mostly avoid having it put over here, right? So if Anthony was a leg drag in that direction, that'll be bad for me because now he has an angle to pass my guard. Another place that I personally don't like having it is stuck inside here because then Anthony can stuff me into like a headquarters passing position, which is also not great for me. But anyway, so two good places that are here or here. For today, let's just put it here, okay? Now, when we're in this position, this is not a K-guard yet. This is just a position from which we can get to a K-guard. To get to the K-guard, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to put it inside, and I'm going to release my de la hiva hook. I'm just going to grab the back of Anthony's knee. When I grab the back of his knee, the next thing I'm going to do is take this hand, and I'm going to go in front of his shin. Okay, when I go in front of his shin, guys, look at how my hand's going. I'm going to move my legs so you can see what my hand's doing. It's going like this. My thumb is pointing like towards the outside of his hips, right? I don't want to have it turned like this. I want to have it turned like this. That's going to let me use this part of my forearm to pull myself to an inverted position. It's a lot better doing it with this side than with this side. This side just it feels like very awkward, okay? Whereas from here, I can pull myself around into the K-guard. The grip. Put my other grip in. Try to get this grip, my left hand, as deep as you can get it. Okay, the deeper the better. It's going to help you pull yourself. Now, when I have this left hand grip fairly deep, I'm going to pull using tension through my forearm to do so. As I do this, I'm going to try to do two things. Get my ear to his ankle and take my knee and bring it down to the inside of his shin, basically. My foot's by his knee. And then I'm going to bring my ear to his ankle. So this is one of the big important points I want to make initially about the K-guard. Again, the relationship between my head and his ankle. Let's turn the other way. Yeah, wait, completely, keep going. Even more. So guys, when I'm in the K-guard here, okay, Anthony's ability to escape the K-guard position, a big part of it is going to be bound up in his ability to rotate his heel, okay? So, no, you wouldn't go that way, you would turn this way, and then keep going, all the way, keep going. And now he can easily pass his heel over my bicep. Pick the heel up and go over my bicep, yep. Okay, so let's go back. So, I'm going to stop that by having tension running through my head into his ankle, facilitated with my grip. So I take this arm, I go very, very deep with it. I don't want to be shallow. And then I go palm up with this hand, palm down with the other, grip and pull deep. Now here, there's a lot of tension running through my head into his ankle. So when he goes to rotate his heel, it's a difficult thing to do. You come back, you'll see here, I have a good ability to access the back of his knee with my outside leg, okay? We'll talk more about that in a moment, but just for now, note that that's basically going to be our main avenue of attack, okay? But for now, I just want to focus on getting to the position and thinking about how to inhibit this escape, okay? So Anthony, if you go down on the back and put me into a K-guard using like kind of the same method. So just up my heel. Okay, so if you look right here, there's a lot of space between Anthony's ear and my ankle. It wouldn't be super difficult for me to get grips on his legs and start turning so that my heel is facing towards his body, right? What I want, if I'm the guy doing the K-guard, I want the defensive person's heel facing away from the body. Okay, see how my heel is facing away from Anthony's body? That would be good for Anthony in this situation, okay? If I, as a defensive person, can get my heel facing towards the body, it's really easy to go over the bicep. Does that make sense, guys? So, what Anthony wants to do is get very deep with this arm, and then pull this elbow to his hip, and then get his ankle tight to, get his head tight to my ankle. Here, so hold it as tight as you can. Here it's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard for me to rotate my heel. Okay, and then this is going to be good for him. If he stays here all day, so hold tight, eventually I can rotate. right? But the reality is, you're not staying here all day. You just need like 5 seconds to start your attack, and then that's good enough, right? There's a big difference between, so go loose here. This, which is loose, I can turn like immediately, and go tight again. This, which is super, super tight. So maybe I can still rotate, but it's going to take so much time that by the time I rotate, he should have already attacked, like backside 50-50. Yeah, this is what we're eventually going to look at. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, so for now, let's just focus on, let's get to the position and think about creating tension in the way that that I just described, okay? Does anybody have any questions? No? All right, let's get started. 1, 2, 3. Alright guys, so now we're going to talk about the two main scenarios in which you're going to be using the K-guard. And then after we talk about that, we're going to talk about the three main targets of your outside reaping leg. Where should your outside reaping leg be going, okay? We're going to start off with just going to backside 50-50. That's like one of the three main targets you're going to look for. It's probably going to be the first one you should look for. But then eventually we'll talk about it. Okay, so Anthony's going to be standing over me. We're first going to be performing a K-guard attack against a standing opponent, okay? So the two major scenarios you're going to use the K-guard are when someone's standing or when someone's kneeling. This is going to change things a lot, right? Because obviously here his shins are on the floor. And so I obviously couldn't have a K-guard hook against his shin, right? Which is the way we're doing it when he's standing, right? So that's going to change how you perform the K-guard, like pretty dramatically, okay? So, but when he's standing, we're going to do what we've done so far. We enter the K-guard like so, with a low K-guard hook. Okay? Now here, the main obstacle to my ability to perform an outside read is the distance between my hip and his hip. Okay? Because he's standing, there's a lot of distance between our hips. Okay? So what I'm going to want to do is, let's turn a little bit around. So guys, everybody come to the other side. So what I'm going to want to do here is keep it very, very basic. What I'm going to want to do here is take my right foot and step right here on the back of his hamstring and the outer part of his thigh. Okay? So I'm going to step here. Okay? Now I'm going to keep it very, very basic. Now I'm going to take my other foot and step here and bring my hips up very high. So it's as if I'm like stepping on the floor, right? To lift my hips up. Right? And my knees and my hips are facing towards the inside. Right? They're not facing outside. My target is over here. So I want my hips facing that way. Okay? Look at how my feet are situated on the, so this foot is on the back of the hamstring, the outside of the thigh. This is on the back of the hamstring and the inside of the thigh. Okay? And from here, I'm going to lift my hips up like so. My feet are obviously kind of like in a form a contour around or attached to the contours of his body, like so, okay? And I lift my hips up nice and high, okay? To get my hips close to his. That's the goal of what I'm doing here with my feet, okay? The obstacle to my attack here is this distance. If I just start, like let's say I try to go to the backside 50-50 like this is, keep this foot heavy. This is not gonna do anything. Okay? Not most of the time it's not going to, right? I can chop almost as hard as I want and it doesn't really do anything. Because there's no power behind it, because my hip is so far from his. So what I want to do is get my hips high, so now when I chop, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna have more impact to the back of his knee because I'm attacking closer to his hip. Okay? I'll just stay right here. So what our overall goal here is to put pressure to the back of his knee. The goal of this, if you guys were at the Kani Basami seminar yesterday, we talked about this a little bit at least. The goal here is to put pressure to the back of his knee, to bring the knee forward, to get the foot off the floor, so now there's empty space here we can occupy with our arm to get a heel hook, right? If the foot's flat on the floor, you can't get a heel hook for the obvious reason that there's no space, right? It's on the floor, right? So you can't put your arm anywhere because there's no space. When the knee comes forward, that changes. So now you can potentially get a heel hook. Okay? This is a very broad concept for leg locking in general. Whenever you're on bottom and you're dealing with someone who's over you, okay, so like you're like playing guard and you have an upright opponent looking to pass your guard, the main way you're going to gain heel exposure in this situation or in any other situation is through pressure to the back of the knee. Okay? And that can be achieved in one of two ways. It can be achieved by you pushing the hips far forward, which is what we're doing here, or by creating a weightless leg. That's not what we're doing here. Okay, yesterday with the side-on bottom 50-50, those of you who were at that seminar, there what we did was we created a weightless leg. Okay, we lifted the leg up, and we made it weightless. But we can't do that here because I'm attached to the leg that I'm going to then attack, right? Through my K-guard hook, right? How can I create a weightless leg? I'm literally putting weight on the leg, right? So we have to use some other method to get pressure to the back of the leg. The way we're going to do that here, so the strong body, is by lifting the hips up nice and high, and now we chop this leg through. And look at how high my leg is, like the outside reaping leg, relative to his hips. It's not, come on man, it's not low. Now you see how low this is? It's not here. This wouldn't be very impactful. Okay, heavy on the foot. Instead, I'm gonna go pretty high with it, okay? So we chop, and we get our foot to the front of the far hip, okay? And because my outside reap is very high relative to his hips, I can really push his hips forward, okay? And look to get your foot to the front of the far hip, okay? So let's go again. I'm in the K-guard, we step, and then keep weighing this way. And get my hips up high. Don't chop until your hips are high, okay? Focus first on getting your hips very high and turning your hips in. Now when you're here, you can take your foot to the inside. You'll notice, sorry, I know this is not easy to demonstrate. My left leg, guys, before I chop, my left leg drops to his knee. See how my shin is at his knee? Okay? For now, let's just do this. We're gonna talk more about it later. Okay? Because this is gonna come back later. We're here, I go to the side of the knee, and I chop with my outside reaping leg. Now here we turn down, and it's going to put pressure to the back of his knee. He goes down. We lock our legs, and we have a backside 50-50. When you get to this position, let's just rotate. Guys, when you get here, lock your 50-50 and pull your grip low on the ankle. So you're pulling this way into your chest and expand your spine. Okay, and then once you're here, hold with just one hand. Take this hand, grab the toes, pull, and then your left hand makes a C grip. So put here, and then you can catch a yawn. Don't finish, just catch. Okay, we'll finish later. So one more time, the pass off. The first thing you have to do is pull tight at the ankle. If you don't pull tight at the ankle, you're low here. It's actually going to be really easy for Anthony to run that way and pull the knee out. Yeah, let me see it. The knee's going to come out because there's no tension at the ankle. If I create tension at the ankle when he goes to run, he's just going to drag me along the mat. Okay, he'll still possibly move, but I'm going to move with him, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I keep tension in the ankle. You only need one hand to do this. Then this hand comes to the toes, grip the toes, like very, very low. Don't grab here. Actually grab like essentially the big toe. Okay? Then you pull it to the top. Now you can't just go heel hook because if you just let go, it's just gonna flop down. So you have to make a block with this hand. Then this one goes underneath, and then it comes back. And then you catch. Alright, so one more time. Tension with the left hand, grip the toes, bring it to the top side, block with the left hand, and you've got your heel. Okay? Alright? Does this make sense, guys? So, does anybody have any questions before we get started?
And what's the point if you switch from the foot behind the quad hip to the triangle?
When he's falling down, because what you're going to want to do at that point is lock your legs to keep the knee within your knee line, right? Sometimes so do you remember yesterday when we did the side on bottom 50-50, when they were landing, I used my hand to grab the knee to hold it inside? Yeah. Here you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that because you're pulling at the ankle so much already, right? That will keep the knee in the knee line. But when you land, you really want to lock your legs to keep the knee in the knee line, right? There are some people that, and I used to do this too, that like to keep an open leg, backside 50-50, and there are advantages to this. The goal there is you keep the knee inside your knee line by just constant tension of the ankle. I don't think it's as strong. I mean, can it work? Yes, but you go against like people that are really good defensively from that situation, and I think keeping your legs open, it's just like giving them unnecessary opportunities to escape. Does that make sense? Yeah. So as they're landing, you're pulling at the ankle. Pretty much as soon as you land, lock your legs to solidify good control of the position. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. Good question. Any others before we get started?